Hello and welcome to Sports Day Live. We've been waiting to do this for God knows how long, but we've never got around to it, but we are starting it for the first time. How are you all doing today? It's a brand new show. We'll talk you through all of the ins and outs of how Sports Day is going to work. But joining me in the studio today, as always, we've got Rowan. How are we doing?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I know.
To everyone, hopefully you're having a good day, and if not, if you're on your own, then you can join us. I
prefer to be alone, so welcome.
Yes, welcome to one and all. I love that. That was perfectly timed.
Best choice I've ever made.
It's great, isn't it? I'm so glad we picked that for our intro sound. It's so good. So basically, Sports Day, it's a brand new series, brand new show on a Friday. Obviously, we wanted to do this a couple of weeks ago, but we did have, of course, we had transfer deadline day, which, safe to say, will probably go a lot better than this ever will do. But it is a new show. We are going to do it every single Friday. We are covering a load of different sports, load of stories to cover, whether you're into your darts, whether you're into your F1, cricket, snooker, UFC, MMA, you name it, we're probably going to be covering it over the next half an hour to 45 minutes. We're not going to make this too long of a show. That is basically going to be every Friday. We're going to be doing it live because I think it's just better to do it live.
It's easy to live, and it's also easy just to get it uploaded immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
And also we can see your interaction in the chat if you come and join us.
Exactly. Another piece of news to talk about is, if you keep aware, on the Twitter page that we have, which is, as you can see on the screen right now, at the _top corner. I do suggest you go and give us a cheeky follow. You might have noticed last night we were live on Facebook, on the Proper Sport Facebook page. We'll keep you with more details on that over time, but there's potential chance for a little bit of...
Just some more stuff happening.
Yeah, things in the works, basically.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you posted on that, but that went really well last night, I think.
It went really well. Thank you to everyone that tuned in and is here.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it. So, as I said, Sports Day is very different to what we usually do. Very, very different. Chris Welch is already in the stream. Says, hi lads, hope you're all well. Valentine's Day, load of nonsense. I totally agree with you, Chris, on that one.
Loyal viewer, Chris.
So I think we're going to go straight to the first news story of the day. I think, obviously, the top story I've put on the screen is to do with Fallon Sherrock. Now, if you are a fan of the darts, you will know she made her name at the World Darts Championship just before Christmas / the start of the new year. She's become kind of a big sensation, not just by fans, but by the media. If you're a darts fan, you know that the Premier League of Darts started very, very recently. It's the second week. Give you an idea of how the Premier League of Darts works. It's 12 legs that they play, or 12 sets even, maximum. And they go around each week, they'll play at different stadiums. So this week they played in Nottingham. I believe next week they play in Cardiff. So they alternate between them. You can do, pretty much, it's the Premier League, win, lose or draw.
And everyone play each other?
Everyone does play each other. And I believe as well, if I am correct, in every single stadium that they go to, they have like a special kind of guest person that plays, which Fallon Sherrock was that in this game.
Oh, she hasn't qualified?
She got asked. She was invited.
I thought she qualified.
Yeah, they have usual players. So Michael van Gerwen is a usual, one of the world's top players. Going Price, Gary Anderson, a couple of players like that. They're regulars in this tournament, but each week they get kind of one player to come in and really, show their style. And Fallon Sherrock was invited to the one in Nottingham, and she played against Glenn Durrant, who. It's a hard one to say because Glenn Durrant isn't the most appreciated darts player in the game. Is a little bit slow compared to the rest. But because of how well she did at the World Darts Championship, the crowd was on her side, and it was safe to say that the crowd were really on her side. And it did her a favour because she held Glenn Durrant to a 6-6 draw on Thursday. Now, just a couple of comments have come in as well. Kieran L, he's in the stream. Up the bloody Sports Day, boys. You know it. Chris said, I still count Sherrock draw as a shock and upset. By the way, I expected Durrant to win. Let's be honest, Sherrock continues shock as well. That's exactly what I was going to talk about. She came into the World Darts Championship. People thought, she probably won't make it through the first round. She got through the first round, and people thought, right, okay, the second round she'll get knocked out, and she just did really, really, really well. I think a lot of it was down to Sky Sports and the media. She won that first game, and her presence in terms of being on the media went from absolutely nothing to all of a sudden overnight she became a sensation. I think she claims about 10, 15,000 new followers on Twitter. She'd got the whole media desperate to talk to her from not just England but the world.
Well, as a non-darts fan, I've heard of Van Gerwen. I've heard of Van Barneveld.
Van Barneveld, just retired quite
and
recently.
like Phil the Power Taylor, everyone knows.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, when I know who she is now because of the media coverage that went out with her.
Well, exactly, and it's a fantastic story to see. I think there's a lot of darts fans that they do like her, but hardcore darts fans, darts fans, they're not a massive fan of the crowds because obviously Sherrock being the favourite in a match, there's been a lot of booing for the other player, which I do understand is not fair. It's not fair. But at the same time, as a darts player, you need to be focused. You need to be in the zone. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
You forget about everything around you. If the charts, if the fans, are really on your side, then it does you a favour. And as you can see on the screen right now, obviously Sky Sports report, she became the first woman to win the match at the Alexandra Palace. She was leading 6-4 in this match, and she was very, very close to winning it. But Durrant checked out on a 70 in the final leg to break a throw and snatch a draw, which is absolutely fantastic for him. She went on to say, "I've loved every minute of it. I'm so happy that I get to play again on the big stage. It's been incredible." Of course, Sherrock, she gained worldwide fame. She beat Ted Evans and 11th seed Mensur Suljovic, which is one of the players. He's a massive favourite in darts, and he was getting booed by the crowd, which is why I feel like a lot of people were saying it's not really fair.
Yeah.
But you have to focus. You're a sports player. You're in the zone. She continues to basically saying, "I'm speechless because everybody's coming. It's amazing. I just thank everyone that's here supporting. I'm so grateful." And then they basically talked, is she going to be playing anywhere again anytime soon? She just said, "I'm getting opportunities opening up all the time. So obviously I'm excited to see what 2020 holds."
Is she a full-time player?
She is, yes. She was invited to the Women's Darts Championship, but she accepted the offer. And then I think it was a week later she pulled out because the prize money that had been offered for the women's players, I can't remember what it was exactly, but I believe they changed it a week later, so it was reduced.
Wow.
So she was like, "Yeah, I'm not playing on it, and I'm not interested."
Stand.
Yeah.
Well, now she can she's got this name. Now she can compete with the men.
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I feel like she's in a position right now where, nothing can really be against her. She's in a position where all the crowd is on her side. When you get that momentum as a sports player and you feel like everything's going your way, that's exactly how it feels for Fallon Sherrock right now. And you know that because of, even last night, a draw is a fantastic result. And I think a lot of people were expecting her to maybe get battered and get humiliated, but she did so well in that game. They're talking about here on Sky Sports as well how Durrant was met by a chorus of jeers from the pro Sherrock crowd, as I was talking about. The 49-year-old expected to be heavily booed every time he was on a finish, but of course he wasn't wrong. He did well to throw thanks to a double 16 in the opening leg.
If he got the draw, it's a well-worked comeback.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Christopher's put, "I'm darts fan. I think booing part of the game, but at the same time wrong. Same time it's wrong." I do agree with you on that one. It is part of the game. It's not just because Fallon Sherrock's playing that everybody's booing her.
I think it depends on something like, I'm guessing Glendon hadn't done anything wrong.
No,
it's just unfortunate he was playing her.
Exactly.
I think I think booing's all right if it's against a guy who was an utter cock.
Yeah, no, that's fair, but he's appreciated, but sometimes he's not appreciated as a player. There was a lot of people because she came in as a challenger, which is as what I was talking about before. Basically, each week they'll get a different challenger to come in to face a player.
Is it normally someone who's a bit known?
Yeah, pretty much. So a lot of people were hoping that Fallon Sherrock was going to play Michael Van Gerwen, but I don't think that was ever going to happen because I feel like Michael Van Gerwen would have just completely walked all over her, which would have been
disheartening.
Not embarrassing to lose to the pretty much world number one. But
so is it at the tournament? Is it like 11 darts players, and then there's always the one challenger?
It's 9 darts players and there's the one challenger.
So how does it work on is it a league table?
League table, yeah.
So is challenger classed as a person?
And not what I know of. Not as far as I'm aware. So a couple of results that happened last night. Rob Cross, he beat Nevin Aspinall 7-5. Good result for him. A lot of draws last night. Going Price getting a 6-6 draw against Michael Smith. One of the standout matches of night 2, Gary Anderson got a 6-6 draw against the world champion Peter Wright. Of course, he won the world championship at the beginning of this year. Glenn Durrant getting that 6-6 draw against Fallon Sherrock. Fantastic result for Glenn considering the situation he was in. And Michael Van Gerwen with the result of the night, beating Daryl Gurney 7-1. Michael Van Gerwen is doing absolutely fantastic at this tournament. He, of course, made the final of the World Championship and lost out to Peter Wright. Got pretty bad in that match. But night 3, they are in Cardiff this time. They move around each stadium. It's always on a Thursday. Peter Wright faces Rob Cross. Johnny Clayton, who is the challenger in Cardiff, will face Michael Smith. Michael Van Gerwen will face Nathan Aspinall. He'll be looking to hopefully make a comeback, Aspinall, but tricky game that one. Daryl Gurney will face Gerwin Price. And Glenn Durrant, of course, he just played this game against Fallon Sherrock, will play against Gary Anderson. That's on the 20th of February. It's available on Sky Sports Action and Sky Sports Main Event. That is all the way up until May when they go into the playoffs, which are in London. And that's where things get a little bit more exciting. A couple more comments here from Chris. Do appreciate it. He says, Gerwin Price, everyone boos him because he's done a lot of things wrong over the top with his celebrating. He's a very arrogant player.
And that's who I was thinking of. I couldn't remember his name, though.
And then he put Michael Van Gerwen was a shock result, only joking. So that is the darts for you. That's on every Thursday. We'll keep you up to date with that. We're going to move on to the next story now.
Go to the track.
Yeah, go on then. Let's go to F1.
So F1 this week, it's been quite interesting. So at the start of the week, it was announced that the Chinese Grand Prix will be postponed. Basically, they've cancelled the Grand Prix because of obviously coronavirus, and they don't want to risk it. They are looking to monitor the situation, but it's looking more likely that either the race will get cancelled, the race will just get entirely cancelled, so there'll be one less race of the season, or they'll move it to somewhere else. I think it happened a long time, a while ago. Yeah. For something wrong with the track, so they couldn't race there. So it was moved to another city it went to Spain, and it was in a different Spanish racetrack. So people are saying maybe a New Zealand thing, and I've had a look at the New Zealand one. There's only like 3 people who hold GP competitions. Macau, New Zealand, then the rest of the thing is for the main F1 competitions. So yeah, that'd be interesting. I think Chinese Grand Prix, it's an alright track, but
it's the situation, isn't it? It's
if you think about how many people they'll take the entire staff of the thing. Then Sky Sports will take as many staff. All the companies will take.
It's a real risk.
It's just not worth it. So,
no.
That got cancelled, and then we have the F1 liveries being revealed. So all the new looks of the cars. So on the Tuesday, Ferrari revealed theirs. It's exactly the same as last year's, more or less. I think it's got a brighter tint of red. But yeah, alright, good looking car, just same as last year. On Wednesday, Renault was supposed to announce the car, and they just didn't. I think they just showed a previous what it looked like last year.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think they either this might be something wrong, or they just didn't want to show it. They didn't want to show what the car looked like. And then on Wednesday, Red Bull revealed the car, and it's quite nice. It's quite similar, but it's more like, I think that's matte as well. Do you know, the matte black and stuff?
Yeah.
And that's the theme this reveal. And then on Thursday, McLaren revealed their car. It is. I am a McLaren fan, but it's so nice. It's the typical colours of orange and black and blue. It's like blue spots, but then the orange is just matte orange, and it looks so smooth and incredibly nice.
Well, I'm looking at the Mercedes one right now. That looks really, really nice.
So the Mercedes one revealed on Friday. Again, it's got the black and silver like normal, but they've added the red on top.
Yeah,
and it's just really smooth again. Going for sort of the matte finish. Looks very nice.
You've even got like the light blue tint on the side and even on the wheels. I'm not a massive F1 fan, but it looks really nice.
The ones on the tyres are just the actual what type of tyres they are. But it's such a nice car. So those are liveries. We've still got AlphaTauri tonight. AlphaTauri did a lovely one though. If you can find it, it's the AlphaTauri Valentine's Day. So because the reveals tonight of the main car, but they did a special version.
I've absolutely butchered the name there.
It's all black, and it's got a little love heart on it. It looks so nice.
AlphaTauri Valentine's Day.
Obviously, AlphaTauri used to be Red Bull Toro Rosso. So we're more or less expecting it's going to be a different looking car because it's not a brand new team, but a renaming, so they probably want a new look of a car. Has he found it?
I'm trying to find it. I can't find it anywhere. Is this from this year or last year?
This year.
It
was like 2 days ago.
I can't
today.
find it.
It's alright, and it's like all black and it's got a nice little love heart that's red. It's just a special edition. I think Kimi Räikkönen were driving it, but yeah, it looks really nice.
Not bad,
Special
not bad.
Red Bull normally do like a camo version every year.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And then the final piece of news: Stoffel van Dorn, the man who raced for McLaren 2018 and 17, has been revealed as the Mercedes reserve driver. So obviously Esteban Ocon was it last year, but with him moving to Renault, they needed one. So they took Van Dorn. Van Dorn had sort of a mixed season. We'll talk about last year. He was up against Fernando Alonso, who's obviously a legend of the sport. And the McLaren car wasn't amazing. I think he didn't out-qualify Alonso, which is a start. I think it's only just been beaten this season happened again, I think, by George Russell, who out-qualified Robert Kubica every single race. He's an alright driver. I've been watching the Formula E series, which is happening this weekend. They're in Mexico, so that'll be fun to watch. And he's an alright driver. He's good. I think the one problem is, let's say Hamilton gets ill a weekend and Van Dorn has to come in. There is a big skill gap between Hamilton and Van Dorn.
Very big skill gap.
Even between Bottas and Van Dorn. Like, Van Dorn, I don't think won an F1 race or podium. Obviously, he was in not an amazing car, but there is just such a gap between both drivers.
Yeah.
That if that happens, Mercedes' weekend for that race could be under threat. It'll just be a very strategic of whoever the ill driver is. If it's Hamilton, Van Dorn will just support Bottas and vice versa. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. So close. Also, Drive to Survive's coming out.
When does it? When does the new season start?
March the 13th.
Oh wow! So we are literally less than a month away from the F1 starting.
They're in Australia.
So with the Chinese Grand Prix, when was that initially scheduled for?
It's Australia. I can have a look. I think it's Australia, Vietnam. It's just it's changed this season. They've added one new race.
Yep.
China would have took on 17th of April.
17th, yeah, so it's really, really early. So I guess at least now they're sorting that now, because I guess if they'd left it till quite later on, it just causes a whole load of chaos.
Well, yeah. Well, in fairness, the season really starts this weekend. On the 19th to the 21st of Feb, you've got pre-season testing, so the cars get to test out the cars. Then they've got it the week after as well. So then 2 weeks, they're in Australia. So I can't wait. So it's also, I think it's a double weekend. It is. So we'll have Australia on the Sunday. We'll have the race day, and then the week after we'll have Bahrain on the 22nd. So
wow.
Everyone
very hectic schedule.
Everyone loves double weekend. It's amazing.
Damn, so that is the F1. There's a lot going on there, of course, as it gets underway for the new season. Chris has put a couple of comments in. Thank you very much. He says, I think it's Ferrari's year. I think Mercedes might be more focused on next year. I fancy Leclerc to win title only if Ferrari is same second half of last season, where they were so quick in qualifying.
Yeah, they were very quick at qualifying. I think, again, with Ferrari, we know they're great on the straights. It's certain problems they have. We obviously saw it last season between Leclerc and Vettel, who is the number one driver. Again, I think it's going to be Merck's year. I think next year will be the year when we could see a surprising car with all the new regulations coming in. I think Ferrari is... I think Leclerc will get second. I think Vettel will not be as high. I think it's going to be Hamilton, though, again. Going to beat the record.
So a lot going on there in F1 ahead of the new season. And talking about something that's under preparations as well, there is the 100, which is, of course, in cricket. They announced today, actually, that there's been a massive demand for the tickets to the 100, and they resulted in 100,000 tickets already being sold just within the initial allocation, which is absolutely crazy. The first round of tickets for the men's finals day is on the August 15th. They're sold out, and the rest of them go on sale in April 8th.
That's incredible, that.
So it's safe to say there's going to be a lot of people desperately sprawling about to get tickets for it. They said a fifth of the tickets purchased so far have been bought for under 16s. And the current priority window for sales will remain open until February 28th.
That's great. That's probably schools, because I remember when I was at primary school, we went and watched cricket.
I think it's very interesting because the 100 is of course, it's brand new. It's something they've never done before. In fact, Sky's got a video about the 100 draft and talking about what it's about. But it's very, very big for English cricket. I think it's something really, really different that is definitely going to work. The people are behind it, and there's just so much interest into how this specific competition is going to work.
I could never get into cricket, so maybe this could spike my interest.
It definitely could. Who knows? I mean, should we play the video?
Yeah,
should we have a
go on,
look?
might as well.
Actually, let's find out about the 100 draft because it's new to everybody. The 100 draft, if we're being honest. So let's have a look.
Well, it's still cricket,
He has got a blinder.
but different. 100 balls, and every one counts. 8 new teams across 7 cities. The best players from around the world in rivalries redefined. New tactics and a platform for new heroes to inspire the next generation. It's bold, it's bright, it's fast, and everyone's invited. This is the 100.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even a cricket fan, but that sounds incredibly exciting.
I think for us it'd be the equivalent of having a 2-week tournament where 8 cities are allowed to choose any player they want to play for them.
Yeah.
It's like a mock draft, basically.
Yeah,
like other sports
pretty
do.
much. It does sound really exciting. The whole idea of there's 100 balls, it's fast paced, it's fun, and it is specifically. It sounds like it is towards the younger generation. You know, get younger people on board with cricket. I wouldn't. It's not a dying sport. Cricket is on the rise. I think obviously a lot of the Cricket World Cup has been going on and things like that in the background. England's doing well in it. Has really spurred on the younger generation to become a part of cricket. So I think this will be another big competition that will spur on the younger generation to want to aspire to go into cricket, which is great to see. It's really good to see.
Again, I think we talk about it. We need to get the younger generation into sports more.
Yeah.
Because we always need. I think football will always be there, and I think rugby will as well.
Oh,
But
100%.
Cricket, we need more. Probably need more people. Other sports where we're not as, I want to say, confident, but we don't have as much success.
Yeah.
We're lucky that now we do. We've been having it, but that aren't on the same levels as your football.
No. I think you compare the likes of football and rugby. They are notoriously the big sports of Britain. Obviously, cricket is a big sport, but I just feel like you don't really see many people playing cricket as much as you see them playing rugby or football. And obviously, this is a fantastic way for them to really get in the young generation to watch it. There's some massive players, and it's not just like players from England, it's the biggest players from across the world. Now, imagine if football did this, where it was a team of players that was in a draft from around the world.
That'd be great.
It'd be absolutely immense. It'll never happen, unfortunately, which is a real shame.
I'd like to see what end of the season, North versus South.
Yeah, everybody always says about that. It'd be good to see, when you see like people on Facebook or Twitter and they put, this is the team of Manchester against the team of Liverpool. So they have Liverpool and Everton together.
I'd love to see it. It'd be interesting to see where people cut off the North.
Yeah, no.
I'd say Liverpool upwards.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I would have said Manchester upwards, but we need some more teams.
Gareth Ronaldo's put, missed yesterday's cast. Oh, well, here we are. Happy Friday all. Shout out to Kieran Hull. Up the Hull. Well, they're doing quite the opposite right now.
I know. Poor result.
Which is unfortunate for them, but hopefully they do play tonight, in fact, against Swansea. So fingers crossed for them, they can get a decent result. We're now going to move on to the snooker. Ronnie O'Sullivan has booked his place in the semi-finals of the Welsh Open. He eased past the world number 4 Mark Selby with a 5-1 win to book a last 4 tie against either Australian Neil Robertson or England's Kieran Wilson. Pretty straightforward for him. He resisted a potential late comeback from the fellow Englishman Selby with the help of 2 fouls in the final frame. He's looking to win his 5th Welsh Open title in Cardiff. This man just does not stop in snooker, does he? He's relentless.
He's ageless. I know snooker, obviously, age doesn't really matter, but he's been around for so long at the peak of his game.
He has. I don't feel like there's really ever a point where he's not on his peak. He has sometimes he'll lose a game, he'll lose a final, and people go, oh my God, he's lost a final. And then he just comes back and smashes the player he comes up against.
Snooker, you could probably be as old as you want.
Oh, easy. It's interesting, snooker, because obviously, as you said, it's not about age, it's about skill, and it's so fascinating to watch a player like Ronnie O'Sullivan because his skill level is just unbelievable compared to the rest.
I think much like many other sports, snooker is definitely a skill game. I don't think you can really get luck in terms of, you could probably get lucky in terms of it might just drip in.
Yeah.
But in terms of hitting that ball to make sure it's definitely going in that pocket, it's incredible.
100%. It's incredible to see. And fair play to him. He's probably going to win it again. The Welsh Open Snooker is on till the 16th of February. It's a very short tournament, only lasts 6 days.
Oh.
So we will probably know by...
Is that BBC?
It is on BBC, yeah. It's in fact, you can watch it on BBC Sport if you wanted to now, where they've got it live.
I love them because like the World Championships, I remember like it's a weekend, you bored, put a TV on. Because I never had Sky Sports, so that's how like I started watching F1 on Channel 4 when it were on. Like snooker would always be on, and you'd be like Mark Selby, O'Sullivan, all them.
No, it's. I think snooker's one of those sports as well where it's very not underappreciated, just underwatched. There's not really great people that are into it.
I can understand why, because people will probably say, "Oh, it's boring."
Compare it to the darts, it's a very different atmosphere, isn't it?
It is genuinely the polar opposites.
Yeah, it's. I just think that's another one of those sports where, it needs probably a little bit more of a boost. I just think when you look at big plays in snooker, a lot of people can only really name one. O'Sullivan, and that's about it. So I think there's a lack of interest in snooker.
I think off the top of my head, I could name 4. O'Sullivan, Mark Selby. Is it Neil Robertson?
Neil Robertson.
And then Steve Davis.
And that's really about it. And to be honest, that's how many you can answer. I think if we went out and asked about 100 people, they'd probably only be able to name 1. And you might get 5 or 10 that could name maybe 2 at a push. But apart from that, fantastic forum, of course, Welsh Open semi-finals. You can watch that on BBC Sport. On the website, it's available live and free. In terms of the football, we do have a couple of games on over this weekend. Tonight, we've got Wolves versus Leicester, a fantastic clash that is going to be.
We also talked about on Wednesday.
We did indeed. So if you do want to watch that back, that is on the YouTube channel, the Top Corner Podcast, episode 12. No, sorry.
12, and it's also on Facebook.
It is as well on the Proper Sport Facebook page if you haven't been on there yet. It is 9th place Wolves versus 3rd place Leicester. If Leicester win, they can go back into 2nd place. Of course, Manchester City's game against West Ham was called off, while Wolves, they can move into the top 6 again with a victory.
I was just say some other games on tonight. Hull versus Swansea.
Of course.
Big championship game. Valencia Atletico Madrid in the La Liga.
Massive game.
Dortmund Frankfurt. I'm trying to think of which ones we talked about on Wednesday. Dortmund Frankfurt. Ligue 1, what have they got? Monaco. Montpellier.
Which is not a bad game in the league. It's very, very tight right now. So there's a lot going on in Liga in terms of positions.
Yeah.
Red Bull Salzburg versus Laslins as well. We talked about that on the Top Corner podcast. That's a massive game in the Austrian Bundesliga. That is a fight for the title.
It's a title decider.
And in Turkey, I didn't even realise this was on. In half an hour's time, Istanbul Başakşehir face Besiktas.
Oh, wow.
That's another one of the big ties in Turkey this weekend.
Some other big ties in the A-League. Adelaide United won 2-0 against the Central Coast Mariners.
It's not quite Western Sydney Wanderers versus Sydney FC.
They're playing tomorrow against the Newcastle Jets.
It's not Sydney FC, is it? And a couple of other games over the weekend we talked about, and games we didn't talk about. There's a couple of big games in the Championship. Leeds face Bristol City, a big tie at the top of the league. Cardiff face Wigan, Chelsea face Blackburn, Derby face Huddersfield. A lot of big games, but one of the standout games, West Brom v Nottingham Forest at 12:30.
That's a big game.
That is a massive game. The biggest game in the Premier League, of course, we're still on the winter break down there. It's Norwich City versus Liverpool. That's at 5:30. And then a couple of other big fixtures around Europe. Barcelona will face Getafe. It's 2nd versus 3rd in La Liga.
We didn't talk about that, did we?
We didn't, no. I didn't realise about that one until late on. Hoffenheim face Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. Leipzig face struggling Werder Bremen as they fight for survival. Atlanta face Roma. That's at 7:45 on Saturday night. A couple of decent fixtures in Liga. Toulouse versus Nice. Nimes versus Angers. Nantes versus Metz. A lot of good games going on around Europe.
I think on Wednesday we missed one of the biggest games because it's on a Monday. We rarely talk about Chelsea United.
We didn't talk about that one, indeed, with that being on a Monday. That's going to be an interesting one. How do you think that's going to go down?
I'll probably go Chelsea 1-0 or something.
I think it'll be a tight one.
I think it'll be an underwhelming win.
I think
result,
especially with Man U playing on Thursday in the Europa League, which, by the way, the Top Corner podcast this week is going to be a Champions League and Europa League special. You do not want to miss out on it. And in a couple of weeks' time as well, we're going to have to just mix the schedule up a little bit. So we'll be changing the date for a couple of the shows.
We'll just do a couple of weeks. Obviously, we'll probably talk about at the end of the stream, but we'll talk about our sort of Euro plans and stuff.
Yeah.
Should we go to rugby, though?
Let's go to rugby very quickly.
I'll talk about rugby. So, Six Nations have been going on. Last week we had week 1. Some good results. Ireland picking up a win, Wales picking up a win, and France picking up an incredible win over England. France are one of my early predictions for this tournament. But we started off with Ireland versus Wales. Great game. Really back and forth between two good teams, and Ireland eked out the win. The first half was incredible. Tons of tries. I think the first half finished 12-7.
Wow.
Well, so did the second half. The second half finished 12-7, but there was tries every 10 minutes. Whereas in the second half, one was scored on the 45th, and then there wasn't two until the 78th and the 79th.
So very, very cagey.
Very cagey, but it was a great result for Ireland. I think that puts them second on the table. We'll just check if it shows me. It puts them second, but then France also eking out a win over Italy. Not eking out a win, but they won quite convincingly. Italy put up a better performance than they did against Wales. Again, France just looking dangerous. Antomac kicking game, brilliant. I think Maxime Medard, great. Dupont, Antomac, just everyone playing great. They're getting Penaud back as well, so that's going to be a scary result for Wales, France, because it's Wales-France next weekend. But then we have probably the testiest game of the weekend, which was England versus Scotland. Obviously, if you didn't know, the storm was a brewing, and that really affected the game. So you can't really say who was a convincing performance because the wind affected it too much. A lot of missed kicks because of the wind, a lot of dropped balls because of the rain. But England did get the win, winning 13-6. I couldn't remember. But yeah, table currently stands as France first, Ireland second, Wales third, England fourth, Scotland fifth, and then Italy in last. As usual.
As per usual. I mean, the weather again this weekend isn't looking the greatest around England. A lot of wind, a lot of rain. So the potential chance for a couple of fixtures to be...
Well, the next fixtures are not this week.
Are they not?
No, we're back to club fixtures this week.
Oh, that's perfect then, isn't it?
Yeah, but then 22nd we've got Italy, Scotland, Wales, France, and then the big game on Sunday, England versus Ireland.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it?
It's my derby.
Damn. No, so at least they're not playing this week because the weather's been pretty shocking. We've got a couple more comments. Yeah, a lot of football ones in here. We've got Chris Wells saying, young generation more interested in taking selfies on this Snapchat nonsense and texting people on social media. Totally agree on that one. I think we can both agree about that one. Chris has also put Gary's put, did you guys get to speak on the subject of Barcelona making an emergency signing after the window was closed following a player injury? It's an interesting that one because Ousmane Dembele has got the injury for 6 months. In La Liga, if a player has an injury of 5 or 6 months or more, they are allowed to make an emergency signing within the league specifically. They can only sign a player from La Liga. They can't play Champions League or Europa League football, just league. So they are looking right now at Willian Jose, the Brazilian striker who was linked with a move to Tottenham.
And Dembele a right wing?
He is, yes. Which is a
little
bit of a weird one, yeah.
Messi will just sit on the right, Griezmann left.
Yeah, because they've been playing Messi as the sole striker right now. So, as you said, they'll probably flip Messi back to the right and get the striker in. Because Suarez, of course, he's out injured for a couple of months. So they're kind of seeing the striker position as more of an important target. But the two players they're looking at, Willian Jose of Real Sociedad, of course, he was linked to Spurs throughout the transfer window. And Luis Suarez. Not the Luis Suarez. There's another Luis Suarez who plays in La Liga.
That's going to look confusing on the books. One's on 800k a week, one's on 20.
Now imagine putting them up top in a two-striker formation. We've got Luis Suarez and Luis Suarez.
And it's Suarez,
together.
El Suarez, nope. It's Luis Suarez, nope. It's the Uruguayan one.
Kieran, Dylan, welcome to the stream. How are you doing, man? Welcome in. Another football story to talk about, which has come up in the last couple of hours, is to do with Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, big.
Very big story in the EFL. Of course, we know there's been a lot going on with clubs over the last couple of months. Derby County was one of the clubs. Birmingham, they got their point deduction.
Bolton, Bury.
But this one concerns Sheffield Wednesday. Now, there's a lot of clubs within the league that are demanding a points deduction over the sale of Hillsborough to their owner, Devshon Shansiri.
Oh,
Very
sorry.
hard to pronounce, but I got there in the end. Sky Sports are basically saying there's been a number of Championship clubs that have demanded a serious points deduction to be imposed on Sheffield Wednesday. Should the club be found guilty of misconduct by an independent disciplinary commission over the sale of its stadium to their owner. It's a very weird one, this one. A lot of news has been going around about Wednesday over the disciplinary commission and what they've been doing. They were charged by the EFL in November, and they will face the disciplinary commission before the conclusion of the current season.
Very sketchy.
Very sketchy. The charge relates to the sale of the club's Hillsborough Stadium to the owner for $60 million in 2017/18.
How much was it valued at?
Now, I don't know on that one. I'm going to have a look in a second. Wednesday have said they believe the charge to be unlawful and have challenged the league's decision.
I do think it's a bit stupid considering he owns the club. So surely they would give the stadium to him for a bit cheaper than...
Yeah, it's a tricky one. A number of clubs, of course, have been rallying up and basically saying that they should get a points deduction.
Well, of course they are.
Which would be potentially up to 12 points.
When it leaves, they wanted Derby to get one because of Spygate.
Yes. Basically, I'm looking at the Sun now. They're saying that the Championship club faces a series of allegations that they broke the league's strict profit and sustainability rules.
Okay, right.
So I'm guessing they've sold the stadium on the cheap to keep the club sustainable, which is how it works. If found guilty, then Sheffield Wednesday could have points stripped away and could see them drop into a relegation scrap. They're 12th in the league right now, 14 points above the relegation zone. They haven't won in the last 5 games in the league. The maximum points deduction for breaking profit and sustainability rules is 21 points, which fellow Championship club Birmingham were docked 9 last year for similar offences.
Chris Welch said, I swear, whenever Gary Monk manages, there's a point deduction involved, same when he was at Birmingham. It's the Gary
Monk goes everywhere. Now, Sun Sport are saying that they sold the stadium to Thai businessman Chansiri to get around the strict spending rules. So basically sell the stadium on the cheap to cover their costs.
The expenses.
Very, very dodgy from the club.
Oh, they just played the system well.
Wednesday's lodged accounts for 2017-18 show the club had sold the ground for $60 million, a profit of more than £38 million. Yeah, this is where it gets a bit dodgy. That allowed them to record a pre-tax profit of £2.5 million for the year instead of a £35.4 million loss. How dirty is that? That's very, very dirty. When you look at it in that way, that is not right.
If everything is confirmed to be true, definitely a points deduction.
Yeah, it should not go away without getting a points deduction.
I never believe a team should get points deduction based on how the club's owned.
No.
Because it should be based on... If it's found out that the whole team was doping and they agreed to it, yes.
Yeah, no, that would be understandable. But
if it's something that the players don't have control over and the management don't, well... What can they do?
The thing is, though, it's the whole club themselves. You cannot be going from a £35 million loss to a £2 million profit out of nowhere. That even for any businessman, that just quite frankly very rarely happens overnight. You can't really sell the stadium and then say you've made a profit and sell it to your own owner.
That's pure shithouse.
Yeah, it really, really is. So Sky Sports, they're saying a group of clubs are insisting that if found guilty, Wednesday should receive a significant points deduction. The measures open to the commission range from a warning up to expulsion from the league. So they really do have a wide open of options.
I don't think they'll get expelled.
No, I don't think they would.
I think they will get relegated. It depends how much they can prove. If they can prove that exactly happened,
I think it'd go very similar to Birmingham. I think they get a points deduction, but I don't think they get relegated.
I think they'll get more points deducted that probably won't keep them up.
I feel like Wednesday's got too much strong of a team compared to the rest of the bottom, so they'd go on a run of fall.
Birmingham get it for how much the profit and stuff they lost? Because, fairness, if you're going from a 35 million loss to a 2 million profit gain, there is something clearly wrong.
Yeah, it's very, very dodgy.
I don't think it's even the gain. I think it's considering you're going to lose 35 million.
Well, this was in March 2019. Basically, Birmingham, they were deducted 9 points by the English Football League for the profitability and sustainability rules. Basically, if I read through this, the EFL said the Blues incurred losses of nearly 48.8 million between 2015 and 18. That is almost 10 million more than the accepted adjusted losses of 39 million over a 3-year period. very bad.
Yeah.
Very, very bad. In terms of sustainability, it's just you can't do that. It really comes into ties with the fact Gianfranco Zola and Redknapp spent £31 million on players. Birmingham are the first club to be deducted points since the EFL introduced the new system.
Wow.
It was introduced in 2016-17. In January, in January of last year, they revealed a £37.5 million loss in the 12 months to end of June 2018.
Yeah.
Largely a result of their wage bill rising from 22 to 38 million after an extensive recruitment drive in 2017. The independent panel heard that they spent 7 million on 4 new players in 2017 when Zola was the manager, before 23 million pounds was spent in the time Harry Redknapp was in charge.
He just loves to spend money, doesn't he?
They love spending money, but it's completely backfired for them.
Yeah.
But to be fair, they're doing all right now. So
Well, Chris Welsh said, you think points deduction all of a sudden Wednesday having to battle for survival, considering they were in the playoff a couple of weeks ago.
It's very true. I mean, I see it in a way of I feel like they've got too much strong of a squad to get relegated.
Yeah.
But it really can mess things up because it depends when the deduction comes into play.
Yeah.
Because they're only talking about it now. Quite frankly, we might not even know they get deducted points. It could be in a month's time. Now, we get to March and they've played, another 5 or 6 games. They could be in real trouble. I mean, you look at the league form right now, they haven't won in the last 5, as we talked about before.
How late could they give a points deduction? Could it genuinely be on the final day of the
No, I don't think they could do that. I think there's a strict
It would have
deadline.
to go to the next season after.
Yeah, I think there's a deadline for when they can't, because that'd be so harsh.
I
Can you
think
imagine being
that-
top in the playoffs and then having a 20-point deduction and then being near relegation?
I'm guessing they'd hope, right, let's just give it next season, because next season we can recruit on defensive issues just to stop goals being scored, and we'll slowly get the points up.
Yeah, the last time that they won was on the 11th of January. That was
That's
against Leeds.
Right.
But since then, they've had a 5-0 mauling from
Ooh.
Blackburn, which was pretty bad, to be honest.
Oh.
Safe to say they had a 2-1 loss to Wigan, who always tend to pick up their points at home anyway. They had a 0-0 draw against Millwall and a 1-1 draw against Barnsley, as well as that 1-0 loss 2 days ago to Luton Town. So right now, things aren't going too well for Gary Monk and Sheffield Wednesday. The fear of relegation could really become a possibility depending on the points deduction overall. And I think that's really it for Sports Day, isn't it, to be honest?
I'm trying to think. What do you want to talk about? Basically, if you don't know, we're uni students, if you haven't guessed
Yes.
from our weird schedule.
We are.
So we're living on campus. So when the Euros are around, we might not be here. So the Euro, we still want to stream the Euro schedule. So obviously in the coming weeks we'll have more details, but we're still for the content.
We've got loads of time. It might be the next coming months. To be honest.
We're going to do the Euros. We're going to try to do the Olympics as well.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
The Olympics, we're looking to cover that for the football Olympics. We'll talk about that obviously the closer we get to it, because
I just thought
that's in July. But
it.
we're looking to expand a little bit more, which is why we've been looking at working with Proper Sport. We're not saying that this is a guaranteed thing yet. This is a work in progress.
But they've been nice enough to stream our podcast.
Yeah, they've been very. We really do appreciate the fact that Proper Sport, they live streamed the Top Corner podcast yesterday on Facebook. That went really, really well. So for anybody that did go and watch along, we do really appreciate it. And hopefully it's the start of just being able to expand a little bit more, make the podcast better for you guys, make the podcast available on more sources. We're looking at hopefully trying to get it on iTunes and a couple of other places in the future. But overall, we just really do appreciate all of the support that we've had over the last couple of months, because we never expected it to get as popular so quick, considering we only started it at the end of November. We've got so much interest in the podcast and loads of new people on board. We just really do appreciate it. In terms of the podcast itself, as I said before, Wednesday is going to be Champions League and Europa League special. We're going to be talking about the games that went on Tuesday night. We're going to talk about the games that are going on that Wednesday night, as well as over the next couple of weeks. You're going to be doing a very special finale feature quiz dedicated to Champions League and Europa League. Very excited for that, I'm not going to lie. And we will also be back again for the Champions League draw, which was a staple of one of our biggest watched videos ever. In fact, it is the biggest watched video that we've done on our channel.
Well, he says for that, Chris Welsh, don't bother with Euros to watch England disappoint us again. We had a good World Cup.
We had a
great
pretty
World
decent
Cup.
World Cup. You know, apart from that.
The Croatia loss.
Yeah, we can forget about
And
that.
the
We had
Belgium
a,
loss. But,
yeah, to be fair, the thing with the Belgium loss is nobody watched it. Let's be real.
No one, when in fairness, no one wanted to win.
Yeah, nobody wanted to watch it. Nobody wanted to win, and nobody really cared about it. But yes,
I'm on about the group stage one.
Oh, the group stage one. Oh, I meant the third round one.
Oh, right. I
Yeah,
forgot we played them twice, didn't we?
Yeah, we played the third round. It was terrible, wasn't it? Absolutely terrible.
No one cares.
But we will be back for the Champions League draw, as I
Yeah.
said before. The semi-finals for it are played on the 28th to the 29th of April. So that draw won't be for a couple of weeks' time.
Quarterfinals.
Semi-finals.
Why are we on the semis? We've got quarters left, don't we?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going to be doing the draw for the semi-finals.
No, we're doing the draw for quarters.
No, we're doing. This is the quarters.
No, this is a round of 16, isn't it?
Round of 16. Yeah.
Yeah. So then round of 8 would be quarters.
Oh no, my bad. Yeah, sorry. No, it's the way. Look at the website there. They've put quarterfinals and then they've put teams underneath.
Yeah, so that's stupid.
Yeah, don't trust the UEFA website. They don't know what they're doing. But we will be there for the quarterfinals.
The quarterfinals.
Don't listen to this website because they've put quarterfinals and then they've put teams saying it's quarterfinals.
Oh, 16 teams
16
left.
teams, yeah.
So
Quarterfinals will be
divided,
8.
that's 8 left.
Yeah.
Quarters, 4 semi, 2
They've
final.
got no clue what they're talking
And
about
this
on this
is their
website. They should. That's round of 16, not quarterfinals. So we'll be there for the quarterfinals. That will be probably in April time, because the second legs aren't till the 14th or 15th. Sorry, that's quarterfinals. Sorry, they'll probably be at the beginning of April.
Yeah.
When they'll do the draw. We got there in the end for that one. But no. Lots of content to come on the channel. Team of the Week predictions will be available on Monday. Of course, we have the Ring Rust podcast available on Tuesday. Can't get my words out.
Yeah.
Top Corner podcast on Wednesday. Hopefully, we're looking to maybe get that live on Facebook over time as well. As I said, that is going to be a work in progress. I'll talk about that maybe a little bit more on a video separately. Might upload that this weekend. Thursday, we've got the NFL Corner as always. And Friday, we're going to keep running on Sports Day. See how it goes. See if there's any popular interest in it, and then we'll go from there and see whether Sports Day becomes a regular thing.
Hopefully.
If you are watching the video as well, tell us your thoughts in the comments on all the news we talked about today. Do you think Fallon Sherrock should have made it through as a challenger in the darts? What's your thoughts on the F1 new cars?
And the season as well coming
Of
up
course.
soon with the Rugby Six Nations. Let us know where he's going to win.
And do you think Sheffield Wednesday should get a points deduction? Of course, naughty Sheffield Wednesday.
Like and subscribe.
Chris Welch just put Summer's wafer up. It really does. They've got no clue what they're talking about. Let's be real. So that is it for Sports Day today. It's not going to be like a podcast. We're not going to make it too long. Probably about half an hour, 45 minutes is about the right time for it. So if you join us for Sports Day, we'll be back next week talking about darts, F1, WWE, MMA, UFC, whatever sports we want to talk about. Well, if any breaking news comes up, we can always cover it. So thank you very much.
Like and subscribe.
Of course, hopefully next week we should have Kieran back for it.
Yeah, maybe.
Fingers crossed.
Maybe.
So do leave a like,
Smash
subscription
that like button.
as always, and keep your eyes out for a video this weekend, probably talking about the potential things with proper sport in the future. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed Sports Day Live. We hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.